Hello, and welcome to The Beat, a news and talk program brought to you by the Center for Community Media at Worcester State University. I am your host, Abigail Silbert, and today we have Dr. Lois Wims, Provost and Vice-President for Academic Affairs at Worcester State University. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Abby.
Will you describe for our viewers your role at Worcester State as Provost and Vice-President for Academic Affairs?
So in other words, that title means that I'm the Chief Academic Officer for Worcester State, and I oversee all of the academic programs, plus instructional technology and academic success center, the Center for Study Abroad, and a number of things related to student success and anything that touches the academic enterprise.
Wow, that is a rigorous role.
It's different every day, which is why I enjoy it so.
Wow. Before arriving at Worcester State, you had overseen academic divisions at several institutions. What do you find to be the most challenging and the most rewarding aspects of working in higher education leadership positions?
Well, I'd say there's an obvious answer to what I enjoy the most, and that would be the students. It would be people like yourself and people like the crew and people that I meet every day. It's been said that students keep you young. Each semester, a group will join us who experience different things in life and bring in fresh energy to the campus. So I very much enjoy student success and playing any role in making their path easier to graduation. I would say challenges. Over 30 years I've been in higher education, I've seen some real changes in how society views higher education. And perhaps we didn't need to be put on a pedestal, but I'm concerned about the anti-intellectualism that seems to have hit our culture, in the sense that higher education is just for elite individuals, and that perhaps it's not proven its benefit and worth to society. I think we all need to have an educated citizenship and an educated populace, and it disturbs me that the role of higher education and its centrality in a democracy seems to have been diminished in recent years in some of the things I read and hear about. Another challenge is always resources. This is a lovely studio, and everything that we do requires resources to do well. And state support for education hasn't been on the incline in a while.
That must be very frustrating given your position.
Sometimes.
You played a predominant role in the hiring plan at Worcester State that brought on a number of new faculty members. Could you explain this hiring plan for us? Well,
I would say that it predates me. When President Maloney came here 8 years ago, it was a commitment to grow the faculty to a size appropriate for the number of students who are coming to us. And I've been pleased to continue the work that he has started. And a few years ago, for example, I think we brought in the largest number in a long time, about 23 new faculty members. It's been very important to me to increase the diversity of perspectives, the diversities of preparation from different parts of the country and the world that come and work for us. Obviously, we want our faculty to be highly qualified, and they are, and enthusiastic about teaching and keeping teaching central to the mission. Many institutions, as you perhaps know, have graduate assistants who teach and faculty who are rarely in the classroom. And that's not the case at Worcester State. Right. And so it was important for me to have faculty who are as passionate about teaching as they are about enhancing their discipline through scholarship and creative activity.
As a senior at Worcester State, I've definitely noticed that throughout my time here.
Well, thank you, Abby. That's good to hear.
What are some of the programs or initiatives that you've been involved with to promote faculty and campus excellence here?
Well, one of the first things that I've attempted to do as soon as I got here was to increase the support for faculty who are traveling for their scholarship, presenting at conferences across the nation and also internationally. That gets Worcester State University's name out there, as well as the obvious benefit to the discipline and to the faculty member. To work with the Board of Trustees to enhance the appreciation of what faculty have accomplished in sabbaticals radical, and to make sure that their accomplishments are publicized. So we work closely with campus communications to be sure that the excellent work of our faculty is highlighted. So that's one of the initiatives that is important to me and will continue to be.
That's awesome. Your background is in criminal justice. Can you tell us what led you to begin your career in law enforcement and study criminal justice?
Well, I'd give you my parents' answer first, because they always said it was because I watched too much television, and that I enjoyed justice-related programs. But I would also say that I've never liked unsolved mysteries, whether they be in history or just in the local community. I always thought that police officers would understand what's really going on and be able to impact that. I also really believed that you could have a singular impact and help people, and I was looking for a challenge. And I certainly found one. So although there weren't a lot of role models of women in law enforcement when I was first studying, and I was one of the few female students in my classrooms, I did feel like it was possible to have an impact on criminal justice. And so I pursued those studies, perhaps over the objection of my parents and my siblings.
Wow, your passion is admirable.
Thank you.
Did you find it challenging to be a female police officer and to be the first female police officer in Central Falls, Rhode Island?
It was really challenging, and I enjoy a challenge, and it's a good thing. One of the funnier things that I say is that on April Fool's Day was the day they chose for my swearing in. I imagine that was probably not an accident at the time. There was quite a bit of controversy about women in law enforcement way back in 1977, and I was challenged every day. I found the police academy very difficult, although I had not too much difficulty with the academic portions, because I had been a college student and was pretty used to studying. I did find all of the physical activities very challenging. I wasn't much of a runner, and they used to send you on punishment laps when anybody misbehaved. So I became a very quiet person when I was in the academy, basically because I didn't want to run an extra foot if I didn't have to. And I found, boxing is certainly difficult if you've never been exposed to that, and I hadn't been. I'd led a reasonably sheltered life prior to police work, and so it was eye-opening. But I would say, once you had proven yourself to your brother and sister officers within the state, so the camaraderie and the brotherhood was very important to me. It took a little longer to convince the public. So you'd be, 5, 6, 7, 8 years on the police department, and you'd arrive at a call and somebody would tell you, I don't believe in police women. And I never knew what the right answer to that was, whether I should just disappear because people thought women shouldn't be police officers. So some of that was very, very challenging.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Especially after you'd survived that competitive environment.
Right. But the brother officers were really terrific, and chances to change minds. Occasionally, one of the older, scruffier gentlemen would come up and say, I didn't think this was a good idea, but you've really proven me wrong, that sort of thing. And some of them really became my best friends.
That's awesome. How would you define your leadership philosophy, and how has it developed over the years?
Leadership in law enforcement and leadership in higher ed don't always look like the same thing. So I would say when I was a young police officer looking to emulate some role models on the department, I appreciated flexibility. I appreciated someone who had a different approach depending on the situation, and didn't see the world in just clear black and white, but understood that many things were in shades of gray. I think in higher education, one of the things that I believe as a leader is that my team needs to be a coalescing of individuals who see the world differently from me. It would be an easier place to work, perhaps, if everybody looked and thought and experienced life the same way, but you're going to miss things. I had a sister who used to lecture about styles in organizations, and she would say that everybody looks out of the world from their own personal salt shaker. And so the holes are the things that you see, and the blanks the things that you don't see. And so I believe in putting together a team that sees the world out of a different salt shaker than I do, and has a different approach. And that way I think we have a better chance of adapting and adjusting to the challenges of leadership.
And that's definitely similar to what you're doing at Worcester State with the diverse faculty.
Oh, thank you. I certainly hope so.
Yeah. Looking to the future, what new developments would you like to see at Worcester State University?
Well, right now, you may have heard that we're involved in putting some graduate programs fully online for the first time in Worcester State's history. We certainly have online coursework, but for someone to be able to pursue an entire graduate degree from a distance, we don't expect to do hundreds of these programs, but in crucial areas, I think this would be helpful. So this is a current initiative. We're also very engaged in how can we offer students the opportunities to be able to pursue their passions and career goals at the same time, and that they're not mutually exclusive, that people can do both.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Wims.
Thank you, Abby. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you for watching this segment of The Beat. And please remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We'll see you next time.